Hi, I'm Bill New with Mack Fire Incorporated. What is Mack Fire Incorporated? Well, let's have a little history here. Back in 1944, a few people got together. This is a hard picture to see, but it actually says on here, Volunteer Help Wanted, Mack, Ohio Fire Department. This is how we started back in 1944. And this is them constructing this building that I'm sitting in at 6120 Bridgetown Road. So this is what the building looked like in 1947. This is their first engine, and that's the crew. Those are the volunteers from back in 1947. So back then we were Mack Volunteer Fire Department. Today we're called Mack Fire Incorporated, but I'll get to that in a second. So along the way, Mack Volunteer Fire Department raised money in various ways. We had festivals, we had turkey raffles. There was a lot of different ways. They spent a lot of time trying to raise money because there was no tax levy. There was no money to be had. All the engines and everything that they had to find a way to raise money for it. So starting in the early 70s, the township came up with a tax levy. Well, the tax levy bought our first couple of engines, which ran out of this house, and it expanded from this house to 3 houses. Now there's 4 houses. And over the years, everything has just gone and kind of rolled along. But in 1983, there just weren't as many volunteers anymore. The township had to come up with a way to make a full-time fire department. And that's what they did. They came up with Green Township Fire and EMS. And that's what it's called today. But originally, it was Mack Volunteer Fire Department. So here's a picture. And if you look at this picture really close, it's kind of funny because the ambulance over here was an old Cadillac and it looks like Ghostbusters. But that's what we ran back then. And some of these engines are from back in the 50s, and the actual engine that you saw over there was from 1947. So this is the type of equipment that we raise money for all the time. So in 1983, when the fire department had the tax levy, Mack Fire or Mack Volunteer Fire Department, all the guys that were left over that were volunteers, some of them were still volunteers, some of them worked part-time, and then you had the full-time people. But Mack Fire Incorporated began in 1983 to raise money for Green Township Fire and EMS. Well, they had money, they had the tax levy, but it didn't always pay for everything. So what did Mack Fire Incorporated do? We would buy things like radios, training equipment. We have CPR classes, we have smoke detectors, CO detectors, and we raise money for the fire department for things in the tax levy that the fire department just didn't have the money for. So we have a raffle every year, and I know everyone probably recognizes this, but it's a raffle we hold every year. The money we raise from this goes to Green Township Fire and EMS for things that they need. And I know this past year, they had to buy radios. So we purchased some Motorola radios, which are very expensive, but it was a way for us to help them to pay for extra things that they didn't have for the tax levy. So that's what Mack Fire Incorporated is. We're an organization that gets together, raises money for Green Township Fire and EMS, and still keeps our name, that Mack Fire Incorporated, for as long as we're in existence. So all we can say is please support anything that we have out there, whether it's the raffle or some other way to support us. We appreciate your time and your effort to support Mack Fire Incorporated. Thank you. Welcome to the 2025 Mack Fire Incorporated fundraiser for the Green Township Fire and Paramedic Service. About a month and a half ago, you received in the mail this particular sheet that had raffle tickets on it and a sponsorship, and it also talked about the wish list. What this is Green Township Fire and EMS has their own tax levy. Mack Fire Incorporated was the original Mack Volunteer Fire Department, and we raise money for Green Township every year for their wish lists, things that they don't have in their budget or that are covered by the tax levy. So some of the things that we cover, if you happen to read the sheet that came to your house, we have portable radios we bought last year from Motorola. We have bought an AED simulation training equipment. We have stabilizing equipment for vehicle rescue. We sponsor all the Green Township CPR classes. We also buy smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detectors for individuals who need it in the township. So first of all, we want to thank you for participating. And the next thing I want to do is go over the sponsors that we have for our raffle. So starting up at the top, we got Eric from Queen City Fireworks. Eric Deal. Thank you, Eric. Coming down here, we've got Schmoes Collision and Auto Detailing at 4342, 4363 Bridgetown Road. And down here, we've got R&R Quality Meats. They're at 4029 Harrison Avenue. Down below them, we have Meyer Funeral Home and Crematory, and they're at 5864 Bridgetown Road. And here's a couple old friends, Joe and Jack Peters. They used to be on the fire department with us, and that's in memory of them. Down here, here's one of our members, Pete Rebold. He's at 5636 Bridgetown Road. It's Rebold, Larkin, and Murray. Down at on Bridgetown Road and Race, we've got Wardway Fuels. I should say Bridgetown and Glenway, but Race is right up the road. Below that, down on Glenway Avenue, we have Glenway Animal Hospital. That's at 6272 Glenway Avenue. And over here, we're just want to thank all the firefighters and EMS of the old Mack Volunteer Fire Department. We were in existence from 1944 to 1983. That's when we became Mack Fire Incorporated, and that's what we do now is have this raffle to raise money for the Green Township Fire Department. And then this is our local 2927, the Green Township Firefighters. Thank you guys for all your support. Below here we have Al Smith Paint and Decorating Center. That's at 5517 Bridgetown Road and 1157 Stone Drive in Harrison. Down below this is Hadding Supermarket, which is right next door, and that's at 6148 Bridgetown Road. Coming over this way, you've got Macris Financial Group. That's George Macris. They're at 5580 Glenway Avenue. Down here, we've got Gary Fetterman CPA and Company. He's at 5630 Bridgetown Road, Suite 1. Below that, we've got Dave Backer Auto Body and Special Pre-Owned Cars at 6500 Glenway Avenue. And below here, across the street, we've got Bridgetown Finer Meats, and they're at 6135 Bridgetown Road. The far end here, we have a new sponsor. It's the Plum Tree Julie Enderhees Realtor, and she's just got her email on there. I don't have an address for her, but you'll get to see that on the screen. Below that is Howe Manufacturing. A couple of the guys that were on the fire department with us, that's the Chastangs. Below this is Neidhard Mingus Funeral Home. They're at 3155 Harrison Avenue in Westwood. And down below here on the very bottom is Jeff Obermeyer, who's one of our members at Hoding Realtors. And they're at 6048 Bridgetown Road. So the sponsors help us to print the tickets and to take care of some of the expenses that we have for the raffle. Now, I'd like to introduce to you Dwight Waldorf. He's going to help me pick the tickets as he does every year. So what we have, and he's got the envelopes all laid out here. We've got one $2,000 reward, which we're going to do first. We've got one $1,000 reward, or yes, as a cash reward. We have 6 500s and 2 250s. So if Dauber, if you want to go ahead and spin and this drum is so old, it's older than us. It's been around a long time. There's a lot of red paint on that drum. So this is the big winner. This is the $2,000 winner. And Dauber's going to give us that winner, who is Anita Reese of South Road in Cincinnati. Congratulations, Anita. You are a $2,000 winner, and we want to make sure you get the right one, so we're going to put you in the official envelope. All right, now we're down to the 1,000. We got one 1,000, and then we've got quite a few. We got 6 500s. So congratulations on the $2,000 winner. Okay, a $1,000 winner, Dauber. $1,000 winner is Bruce and Joni Wilcox, and they're in Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations, Bruce and Joni, $1,000 winner. Official $1,000 envelope. Now let's go to the 500s. There's a lot of things we buy for the fire department, and they're not all stated on this list, but throughout the year we sponsor other things besides what you saw on this list and what's on the wish list. Okay, Dauber, this is a $500 winner. Beverly Meyer, Quailwood, Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations, Beverly, $500. Get you in your little envelope. And we get little letters. I'm going to read this real quick while he's picking the next one. It's very nice to get these kind of letters in our raffle. This was just something somebody threw in the envelope. It says, thank you and God bless all of you for putting your lives on the line for us and always answering our calls when we need you. Stay safe and God bless you. Marlene Huff. That is very nice. We appreciate that. It tells the firefighters, the ones that are full-time, and us from long ago, that we appreciate everything that you send us. Okay, this is a $500 winner. Mr. and Mrs. Douglas Gerald, Eagle Creek, Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations, another $500 winner. Wait till we get the thing open. Okay. All right, it's official. So next is still a $500 winner. And Dauber does a lot of work on the raffle. He spends a lot of time making this work. Another $500 winner is Linda, I believe it's Logger of Hillside, Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations, Linda. There's a lot that goes into collecting all the envelopes and making sure that all the expenses are paid before we give our donation to the fire department and buy things on the wish list, and Dauber has a lot to do with that. So thanks, Dauber. I believe, is this another 500, Dauber?
Yes.
Okay. Ann Enderhees. That is Closs Ridge, Cincinnati, Ohio. So congratulations, Ann. You are a $500 winner. Okay, Dauber, I think we've got another $500 winner. Let's see who's going to win that $500. And we'll contact you. Dig deep, Dauber, dig deep. And another $500 winner is Debbie Weller, West Fork, Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations, Debbie, $500 winner. Dauber, make sure it goes in the envelope. You're doing a great job, by the way. One more $500 winner, and then we'll go on to the 250s. One more time, Dauber. Okay, the final $500 winner is Dee Chasteen. Looks like Beacon Lane, Cincinnati, Ohio. Congratulations. Another $500 winner. Now let's go on to the 250s. Okay, we got two 250s. And let's see who's big winner here. Dig deep two more times, Dauber. Okay, a $250 winner is, looks like Lawrence Burkhart, Cincinnati, Ohio, on Taylor Road, so right down the street. Congratulations, Lawrence. $250, one more $250 to go. There's a lot of tickets in there. We really appreciate your support. And the last winner is Mr. Ronald Bollinger of Pine Brook Circle, Cincinnati. Congratulations, you were the last $250 winner. And that's it. We've given away the prizes. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Dauber, thank you, and thank you, Green Township.